Welcome to Lesson 9. So in this video, we are now going to talk about where our beliefs come from and some of the root causes. And so hopefully this video will be pretty quick because I want to spend most of our time really talking about what those beliefs are and understanding where they come from. I think is quite helpful for a couple of reasons, and we'll talk about that. So first of all, where do beliefs come from? Well, again, they're beliefs that are rooted in two separate places. One, of course, is love, and that doesn't really come from anywhere because it is our natural state. Well-being is who we naturally are. So, going back to that statement, if God is in anything, then it is in everything. And so it is very natural for you to have beliefs rooted in love. Just look at a baby. I mean, these guys are happy for no flippin' reason whatsoever because that's their natural state. Until they get hungry or need a diaper change or maybe get a little bit sleepy, that any other minute of the day they're not experiencing those things, they are perfectly happy. Think about how curious they are and how excitable, and now they just laugh at the funniest, silliest, most ridiculous things because that is our natural state. Well-being is who we are. Okay, so any belief that is in love, it is in alignment with who you are, your true divine self. Okay, so beliefs rooted in fear, or beliefs that are surrounded in fear. There's a couple of different places these things come from. It isn't our natural state. But, again, we don't want to look at these beliefs as bad. We don't want to punish ourselves for them because everything we experience is exactly how it's supposed to be. It's exactly on purpose. It's what we signed up for. It's here for us. Really got to shift that perspective that things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And the fact that you're now here learning about this information, the planet is taking a shift. Consciousness is taking a shift. People are starting to wake up. It is divine plan for all of this to take place and all of this to happen. None of this is by accident. Okay? So if we are recognizing that we're not manifesting the life we want, we're not feeling great about ourselves all the time or other people, we have some core wounds. We're getting triggered, means we have core wounds. And these things need to be addressed, looking at these beliefs. So understanding where the belief came from can be helpful in a lot of ways. For some, it just sort of takes the pressure off. Oh, okay, so I didn't really screw up my life. This is what I was supposed to. This is what I was supposed to learn. Actually, I feel better about things already. So a lot of times these kinds of discoveries can be very helpful on the healing journey. So since there's only two states of being, love or fear, the only two places emotions can come from, alignment or misalignment. There is no in between, and you cannot be in both states at the same time. You cannot be aligned or connected to your source and commit a violent act. You can't. Because when you're connected to source, you understand the oneness of it, and you understand that everybody else that you're connected to as well. You're not going to go out committing a crime or saying ugly things when you're in alignment with love. When you're in misalignment, you're probably not going to be, standing in the line of the local food bank donating items. You're in fear. You're out there on the road, road raging someone. So you can't be in both places at the same time. I mean, if you are in line at the food bank donating, you might be, complaining because the line's too long. So you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Okay, so what are the root causes of fear? First of all, there's past life issues and unresolved karma. I know a lot of people still don't resonate with past lives. If this does not resonate for you, just give it a minute. We'll be moving on. Let it go. Leave it. But if you do resonate with past lives and unresolved karma that you've carried over from previous lifetimes, just understand that something interrupted that karmic lesson from being cleared. And so we're just bringing it up one more time to finally clear it. And it could be any number of things. It doesn't have to be you. We're not looking for blame here. We're just simply saying, what's the root cause? And so if you have, of unexplained fear, like if you have a fear of swimming and, you've never had a near drowning experience, but you're afraid of swimming, that might be because you had a drowning experience or a near drowning experience in a past life, and you need to clear that karma. Okay, you just need to clear that energy out of your system. And just know that anything that does show up or that does come forward from a past life, it is going to show up in our childhood. We're going to recreate it in our childhood. So for example, if somebody in their past life was strongly persecuted, what kind of childhood might they have, right? They might have a really difficult childhood because they're trying to clear out that energy, learn those lessons from a past life of being persecuted. The next place that the fear or the root wounding can come from is just simply your ancestral DNA. Alcoholism is a really good example of ancestral DNA. Abuse, that's another good example. Cancer is another good example. These diseases that are seemingly genetic. And it's a predisposition to it. You might be here to clear it, because it's just time. It's time for that. This is where it stops genetically. Just because you have a genetic line doesn't mean you have to experience it. We'll talk about, I'm not going to get, because of the scientific aspect of it, I'm not going to get too far into it. If you want to explore Deepak's books or Dr. Bruce Lipton, where they talk about the relationship with disease, even Dr. Joe Dispenza. Any of these places are a great resource for you to look further into genetics and predisposition, but it doesn't have to happen. It is not automatic. Your genes, your genetic makeup does not have its own control system. This is the central control system to everything that is this body. Nothing can happen until this directs it to. Okay, so if you have the belief that you're going to have these predisposed genetics and get these diseases, then more than likely your body will be happy to respond to that for you. Okay? All right, so that's genetics. Of course, then we talked about tracing issues through the lineage, like alcoholism. If you are finding yourself as sort of the black sheep of the family, or having beliefs that are distant from the family, then chances are your job here in this lifetime is to clear that ancestral lineage. It is to clear that DNA. It is to clear that imbalance for your soul family. So any traditions or beliefs or religious or social or any kind of like racism, deep-rooted beliefs about other people or other things, if you're finding yourself not in alignment with those beliefs, or challenging those beliefs, it's because you have encountered that in this lifetime to clear that out. So that's, really important, very, very important, powerful work. And it also means that by your working on clearing it means you won't be carrying that down to your children or your grandchildren, which is, really a beautiful, sort of a beautiful job to have. Then, of course, there's child wounding. We talked about this from the age of, 2 to 3 up to 7 or 8, experiencing any traumas or unresolved, unhealed hurts at that time. It is going to create belief systems because that's when we are the most programmable. So whatever you experience in your childhood creates your beliefs. That becomes your program. And then, of course, whatever it is that you learned from your parents and so forth, your siblings, etc. And then, of course, there's your basic societal programming where, different parts of the country might have, depending on your locality, you might create certain beliefs about things. And there's social pressures that, we didn't have social media growing up. So this generation has all kinds of social pressures that can be programmed in to create beliefs and fear that we didn't have to experience or deal with necessarily. Bullying is one of those bigger, much, much bigger issues now because of the just the reach that we have into each other's bedrooms and lives and minds and so forth. So Social programming is another location. So understanding where these wounds or where these opportunities to heal these and have these lessons, to heal these wounds and have these lessons, understanding where they come from can often be part of the healing process. Like I said earlier, once I understood that some of what I had done was just sort of predestined, I had chosen it in my soul contract, I thought, okay, now I don't feel so bad about it, and I'm glad to know that I did. Now I can look back and say, okay, this is how this is helping me now. So use that in whatever way resonates for you. But go ahead and work on the exercise number 9 and share your thoughts in the group, and we'll talk about that some more when we get together.